Well, hello there. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'd like to do something a little different. I've been promising for about a year now to do a video about my favorite movies, my top. I couldn't make it 10. It was really, really difficult. It ended up being top 20. And even then, it's sort of cheating because I had to lump some honorable mentions in with other movies. And yeah, you know, we all love movies unless you grew up Amish or a different kind of religious or under a rock or too pretentious to watch movies because you read, which is fine. But yeah, a lot of us have a bunch of movies that have shaped our childhoods or inspired us as adults, whether it be the imagery, the characters, the actors who portrayed them, the music score that accompanies the art, the visual art. So today we are going to go over a list of my top favorite movies from childhood to adulthood. Now, we had to leave out comedies, animes, any kind of show. We had to make it strictly like horror movies or dramas, more so serious films. We'll have to talk about comedies another day because this was such a challenge to narrow it down to even 20. I have seen so many indie films, so many cult classics, so many stoner comedies, stupid, guilty pleasure romantic movies, which I won't even get into because that's just that. So many horror movies, so many action movies, so many dramas, so many sci-fis. So yeah, it was very, very challenging to whittle it down, but I was able to do it. I was able to get sort of 20 from my childhood onwards that inspired me, affected me, resonated with me, or just told a story that I could never forget. These are the movies that you will sit down and watch anytime, even if you've seen them 100 times already, if it's on TV, or if you randomly just get a thought about it and you're like, I need to see that movie, and you sit down and watch it. These are those for me. I'd also like to do a special shout out to our members. I promised to do that a while ago, and I kind of forgot to check to see if I had any members. So shout out, thank you so much. And I'd also like to shout out to my regular viewers and supporters that are always commenting and, here for me. That's fantastic. You guys are the best. A different day we're gonna have to talk about animes, shows, video games, because people who don't play video games don't know. Some video games have amazing stories. Not to mention music. Oh my God, music would be even harder to narrow down. Oh, that would be so difficult to narrow down top favorite bands or top favorite albums. Pick a genre. What genre? So yeah, we're gonna start today with movies from me. My favorite movies, my favorite must-sees. If you haven't seen them, you gotta see these movies. Starting with begin with Jaws. I know this is an all-time classic, and I'm sure everybody and their dog has seen this movie, but I have to mention it because I saw this movie at 3 years old, and I loved the beach, I loved the pool, I loved to swim. And after seeing this movie, I had a lifetime fear of being eaten by a shark, whether it was in a pool, a shark would just randomly be on my floor. That particular scene haunted me as a child. Fantastic movie, and no shark movies since then can be taken seriously. They're all just ridiculous and campy and just dumb. This one, Steven Spielberg, this movie, apparently behind the scenes, it was an absolute disaster to me. Bruce the shark kept breaking and sinking to the bottom of the ocean because he'd fill up with water. The actors didn't get along because one of them was drunk all the time. It was just a shit show, but they got it done, thankfully. Speaking of childhood favorites, I couldn't not mention a guilty pleasure that I usually need to watch at least once a year, even into my adult life. Secret Garden is a movie about a girl who is orphaned
Somewhere in the forbidden rooms.
and she's sent off to live in her uncle's manor with her sick cousin, who she's kept isolated from for some time. Eventually, she meets him, and he's a complete spoiled brat sycophant. He's not actually sick, he's just been kept in a bed in a basket his whole life. And her mother's twin sister also died. So they both lost their mother, and they bond over that. And then there's the garden and all the symbolism of bringing the garden back to life, because everyone overcame the grief from the loss of these deaths. It's just such a touching movie. It really shaped me growing up. I really resonated with Mary's character, and I hate that they remade it. I feel like it should have been left alone in the 90s. It was a perfect masterpiece. It did not need a remake. And I feel like you just need to watch the original sometimes and not remake things, because they are fine the way they are. I'm conflicted about this movie because while everyone who's read the book will argue that the book is leagues better, this was a really good movie as well. Brad Pitt actually got depressed in this performance. Anne Rice is a fantastic writer. And even Tom Cruise, who is not my favorite actor, and who she apparently adamantly protested against playing Lestat, which I agree with, he took it very seriously and threw himself into the role. And, what's her name? Kirsten Dunst. This was the first movie I'd ever seen her in. She's fantastic in this movie. And, okay, my one critique is that in the book, Antonio Banderas' character is like a 17-year-old ginger. And look at Antonio Banderas. Is he a 17-year-old ginger? No. That's ridiculous casting. But otherwise, if you can separate this film from the novel, it is a very good movie, and I'll usually watch it if it's on, just because, it's all vibes. It's romantic, vampires before it, Twilight, and that other show, True Blood, just killed it and ruined it. This is back when vampires were still cool and sexy and depressing and gothic. And yeah, I can't really say how I feel about any other Anne Rice movies that followed, but this one is worth it. Even if you don't like Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise, you gotta give it to little, super young Kirsten Dunst. She did a fantastic performance in this movie. You can't talk about campy horrors if you don't talk about Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead. This is the movie that will usually pop the cherry for ridiculous, campy, silly, gory, hammy, cheesy, ridiculous, just awesomeness. I think I first saw these movies in my early teens, and I mean, what can I say? These are the perfect movies for hanging out with your buddies, having some drinks, just having a laugh at the stupidity that's unfolding, the ridiculousness. Definitely not something you want to show young children, but I mean, what can I say? And yeah, there was a whole league of movies that followed suit after this, and you can't talk about any Bruce Campbell movie without, of course, mentioning Army of Darkness, because that's another one that's like the legendary cherry popper for ridiculous, campy, indie horror films that were just gory, nonsense, silly. Army of Darkness had more of an action horror vibe, and it set place in the medieval times. But there's just so many iconic lines. Bruce Campbell is just fucking hilarious, awesome, misogynistic hero. Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore. They're not allowed. It's all, women get to act like this now, not men. But yeah, definitely Definitely great movies. Watched these like so many times with friends in my teenage years and my early 20s. And yeah, I mean, just these are just fantastic. If you haven't seen them, you have to watch it with a. They're basically like a comedy. This is before I decided I thought Keanu Reeves was attractive. I decided recently in the John Wick movies that Keanu Reeves is really hot, you guys. But back in the Matrix days and Constantine days, my taste was more towards Johnny Depp and not so much Keanu. But this movie is epic. I never read the graphic novel or the comics, but this movie, it was super cool with the imagery, the artistic angle that they took with different characters being angels, different characters being from hell. I thought that was so cool, and even though this movie was done in the early 2000s, it still holds up today. The CG is not terrible. I really thought that the actors that they used, like Tilda Swinton, she is so cool. She's such an androgynous beauty. I've always thought she was just such a striking looking woman. And the man who plays Lucifer, I can't remember his name right now, but yeah, this movie was definitely epic. And I think they're doing a sequel, if I'm not mistaken. I should probably IMDb or check that instead of spreading this information. But yeah, I think I heard works of there being a second one, and I'm all for it because I think Keanu's hot, and I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good actor now. And they can't just keep making John Wick movies. I'm sorry. The first one was great, but after that, I was kind of fed up with it. Yeah, this movie definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen him. It's pretty epic. It's very intense. Alright, I'm just gonna get the elephant in the room cleared out right away. The director or the writer of this movie, Victor Salva or whatever his name is, he has faced a lot of scrutiny and he's done some very bad things. Things I don't want to say about on YouTube, but let's just say it involves underage boys and the implication wrapped around, the theme of this movie, it's bad, okay? And all the sequels that came after this movie are all pieces of shit. It's not even worth your time. But this movie, if you can separate the art from the artist, this was like groundbreaking. I saw this movie in theaters like 3 times in a row when it first came out. And back then, I was sleeping in an unfinished basement, which was already creepy enough. And after seeing this movie, I was legit afraid of the dark. Like, I was so scared. And even now, if I'm ever driving on the highway and someone starts tailgating me, this movie is the first thing I think of. And apparently, it was based on a true story of some weird guy who was chasing people in a truck. White Oleander is more of a drama. It's from the perspective of this young teenage girl entering her young adult life. Her mother is an extreme malignant narcissist, and she's a beautiful artist who, really consumes her daughter. You could tell her daughter really loves and looks up to her mother. Her mother decides to poison a man with flowers because she slept with him and he used her. A tale as old as time, right? And her narcissism, her ego couldn't take it, so she felt entitled to poisoning him, and she went to jail. And we see the aftermath of this girl's life bouncing around from foster home to foster home. First, she's with this Bible-thumping trailer trash lady who barely takes care of her own kid, has another foster, and there is a pedophilic relationship going on with her man and the girl. It's just so twisted. And then she has to go to a different home, and this woman was really good to her, and she had a good life there, but the mother didn't like it, so she manipulates the lady into killing herself. So then the girl ends up in the system, and eventually it's a really touching tale of how a mother's choices can affect her daughter, and how a daughter can literally have her life ruined just because of wanting approval and acceptance from her mother. Great story. I really liked this movie, and people could say what they will. Quite often, takes on video game stories in movies are not usually the best, but I feel this movie was done pretty well. The atmosphere, the acting, the music, they did bring frightening elements from the game into the movie. Sean Bean is in the movie, and I do like this actress. And you have to give them props for the imagery. They did a really good job with that, I feel, and it's not always easy to take something that's in a video game and bring it to life in a movie in a way that's going to make sense.
Do you know what's going on here? This place is
I haven't seen any of the remakes or any of the new ones. There is a second one, isn't there? I haven't seen it, so I don't know what to think about it. But I remember watching this one quite a few times and really just enjoying it. It's one of those movies that you can just escape in for a couple hours. And it does have its dark sides. It does have its sad parts. If you're into that sort of thing. And it's dark, it's twisted. Pyramid Head is always something. Oh yeah, there was another movie and it was dumb. I remember that now. I did see it and it was dumb. But yeah, the first one is always good. Don't ever bother with sequels usually. They're always a disappointment. Alright, you gotta hear me out on this one. I know Jennifer Lopez sucks, and she's really done a lot to humiliate herself and expose her ego and her self-importantness, and even kind of like her lack of talent. Not saying she doesn't have talent, but just how highly she thinks of herself has sort of sullied any of her prior work. But movies like this need to be done more often. This movie was dark, this movie was artistic, this movie was innovative. They did these nightmare dream sequences so well, and this is another early 2000s movie where if you were to watch it today, it still holds up visually. And I think the story was really good. I think they need to make more movies like this today, just maybe not with Jennifer Lopez. If you haven't seen this one, definitely give it a shot. I mean, I think it's worth a watch at least once. Just for the imagery, just for the dark art of it. It was very well done, in my opinion. If we're gonna talk about childhood classics and sci-fis, we have to talk about Fifth Element. I know everyone has probably seen this movie. It runs on cable TV quite frequently. I remember seeing this movie in theaters. I don't remember what age I was, but I remember just thinking, what an awesome movie. And they don't make movies like this anymore either. Like, this movie was epic. This movie was like a story. You know what I mean? Mila Jovovich is amazing. Bruce Willis, who apparently hated being an actor and was apparently very difficult to work with in his day, he was just legend in this movie, and I love Gary Oldman. He was a fantastic villain. Zorg, oh my god, so original, so ridiculous. That opera scene, the alien fight scene, just the whole saving the planet narrative, the whole thing was so well done, and they don't make movies like this anymore, and I really wish they would. I mean, this is another one when it's on, I usually sit down and watch it. Well, if we're gonna talk about Gary Oldman, I have to talk about my favorite Gary Oldman performance ever. And ironically, it's his least favorite performance, allegedly or apparently. He said he's embarrassed about this movie, or he hates that he did it, or some shit. Why do actors sometimes hate stuff that is just so good? I feel like his portrayal of Sid Vicious was so good. And I mean, I didn't know Sid Vicious personally, but I feel like Gary Oldman became him. He encompassed him. And, you know, the movie is like kind of like, it almost sexualizes drug abuse or idolizes addiction, and Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols did not like this movie, and I have to respect that, given that this is about his band, this is about his old friend who he lost to Nancy and drugs. This movie's based on a true story. If you don't know, the band the Sex Pistols, Sid Vicious and his girlfriend Nancy, they became heroin addicts at very young ages. We're talking 20, 21. And it did not take long for their lives to spiral out of control when their band had faced very minor success and the drugs took over. Next thing you know, Nancy was allegedly stabbed to death by Sid. And when he was eventually released from jail on bond, he then went out and overdosed and died with his mother, and allegedly. Like, it's just such a sad story. And even this ending scene here in the movie, it just gets me, you know, like something about the way it's shot, the lighting, the music, it just hits me in the feels, man. And, you know, those of you who have been listening to my story times and have been following me for some time, you may already know this, that I struggled with drug addiction. And so I have experienced, not everything there is to experience, but I have experienced a lot of things that are in these movies. And yeah, it just gets me in the feels, I guess, you know, it resonates. And yeah, I just feel it's a shame that Gary Oldman hates this movie. What's his name? Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols hates this movie. And I'm sure if Sid Vicious was alive still, he would hate this movie. But I love this movie, and I usually need to watch it at least once a year. And yeah, this ending scene just hits me in the feels, man. I'm gonna be quiet now so you guys can just watch. This scene takes place after she had already died and after he had gotten out of jail. So there's some heavy symbolism going on. And that's why we stay off drugs, kids. If we're going to talk about drug movies, I also have to talk about Train Spotting because I love Ewan McGregor and I love everything about this movie. And even the sequel that came out, it's not as good as the first one, but there's a lot of nostalgia in it because they brought back a lot of these actors like 20, 30 years later. So I would recommend watching the second one too, but of course it doesn't hit like the first one. This movie is about a ragtag group of misfits. They're all addicts in different ways. And the main character, Ewan McGregor, is often trying to get off heroin and sort his life out. But, you know, with the influence of some of his piece of crap friends, that's not always possible. And you see just a lot of the shit shows that go on with them partying around in Scotland and England and him trying to get his life sorted out, and eventually he fucks his friends over and takes off with the cash. It's a great story. It's a great story. And trigger warning, it's like there's some really heavy content in there showing like rock bottom consequences for what happens when you're a drug addict and a neglectful parent. Let's just say that. I gotta lighten up the mood a little bit. I got myself too emotional in the feels thinking about Sid and Nancy and Train Spotting. So we're gonna talk about No Country for Old Men. This movie is so good. And some people complained that it was boring or that it wasn't that eventful, and it's like you need to calm down, because even I have ADHD, and even I could sit still and sit quietly. This character Anton Chigurh is written so well. He's so scary. He's so creepy. He's just going around murdering people, and he's looking for a bag of cash that the main character has discovered and is trying to fuck off with. And it's this whole cat and mouse chase. And it doesn't end good. It's not a happy ending really for anybody. But I love the actors in this movie. And yeah, like whenever it's on, I just have to sit there and watch it because it's just so fascinating. Just draws you right in. If you haven't seen it, definitely check this movie out. I'm gonna let this scene play out just so you get an idea of how intense this guy is.
What time do you go to bed, sir? You're a bit deaf, aren't you? I said, what time do you go to bed?
Oh, somewhere around 9:30. I'd say around 9:30.
I could come back then.
Why would you be coming back? We'll be closed.
Yeah, you said that.
Well, I got to close now.
You live in that house out back.
Yes, I do.
You lived here all your life?
This was my wife's father's place originally.
You married into it?
We lived in Temple, Texas for many years. Raised a family there in Temple. We come out here about 4 years ago.
You married into it?
That's the way you want to put it.
I don't have some way to put it. That's the way it is. What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Sir?
The most you ever lost on a coin toss?
I don't know. I couldn't say.
Call it.
Call it.
Yes.
For what?
Just call it.
Well, we need to know what we're calling it for here.
You need to call it. I can't call it for you. Well, it wouldn't be fair.
I didn't put nothing up.
Yes, you did. You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it. You know what date is on this coin?
No?
1958. It's been traveling 22 years to get here. And now it's here. And it's either heads or tails. And you have to say, call it.
Well, look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything.
How's that?
You stand to win everything. Call it.
All right. Heads, then.
Well done. Don't put it in your pocket.
Sir?
Don't put it in your pocket. It's your lucky quarter.
Where do you want me to put it?
Anywhere not in your pocket. Or it'll get mixed in with the others and become just a coin.
I absolutely love this movie. Brad Pitt was so funny. The actor Christoph Waltz, who plays the Jew hunter, he is absolutely frightening and such a strong actor. This movie is really what got him attention. He'd been working for a while and hadn't got really the focus that he deserved until he saw this movie. A lot of people complained about this movie, that it's not historically accurate and it makes Americans seem a certain way and it makes Germans seem a certain way, and I disagree with those statements. This movie is a fantasy fairy tale, and I love the actors. I love so much about this movie. It makes me so happy, and you're not supposed to take it seriously. You're not supposed to believe that this is really historically how it happened. This is a fairy tale fantasy. And I actually have to argue that
That's a plan?
the way Tarantino wrote that one scene where the bear Jew bashes in the head of the SS officer, he showed that he was like an animal and he was classless. He behaved like very, very dishonorably. And the SS officer sat there and faced his death with honor, fearless. If you can actually read between the lines, Tarantino is not trying to say that Germans are bad people. I think he did a good job with this movie. Since we're on the topic of Quentin Tarantino films, we have to talk about Pulp Fiction. It's not his first movie. I'm pretty sure Reservoir Dogs, if I'm not mistaken, was the first. But everyone knows Pulp Fiction. This is the one that put Tarantino on the map. This movie is also really what started, the movies not being in chronological order and jumping around, and there being flashbacks and, things brought full circle. This movie has so many great stories told throughout it, and then they all kind of intermingle, and it's just so well done. I love the characters, I love the acting, I love Uma Thurman, Bruce Willis, another Bruce Willis movie, and it's so funny. I love so many Bruce Willis movies. Die Hard didn't make the list, but believe me, it's in there. And it's just like, you find out that he didn't even like acting, or that he was a miserable on set and difficult to work with. But hey, I guess Tarantino was able to rein him in. And this movie is just classic. I'll always watch this if it's on TV. And, I just gotta sit through the whole thing. It's so good. The ending scene, well, not the ending scene, but the Zed's dead, man, that was something the first time around. Kill Bill 1 and 2 are both some of my ultimate favorite movies. Just because it combines all the best elements. It was really Quentin Tarantino trying to bring all hands on deck. You know what I mean? As far as creativity, inspiration, storytelling, art, music, all of it. The whole epicness. This is a classic revenge story. And, she has to go through the list of getting back and fighting each person to the death who had wronged her. And it's just such an epic tale, and it really, the first part just gets you ramped up and ready for, the story. And then part 2, it really gets you into the whole, is revenge the right answer? But it shows the epicness of her journey and everything that she went through to become who she is. And, she eventually does reunite, and she's the heroine who won the day. And some people have a problem with it because they just can't stand seeing a woman fight like Bruce Lee, I guess, or some people don't consider Uma Thurman attractive enough, or whatever their issue is, and that's their problem. I love everything about this movie. I love Uma Thurman, I love the music, I love Bill, I love it. This whole movie's great. Death Proof is one of my ultimate favorite Quentin Tarantino movies ever, and it is highly, highly underrated. I believe because it was a double feature release, and it was the second half to Robert Rodriguez's was the first part, and it was this ridiculous I can't remember what the movie was called at this moment, but this movie came next, and people just, after that movie, the vibe wasn't matching, I think. People didn't know what to think, they didn't know what to expect. A lot of them didn't even know there was a second movie, because this was played like old school style, like double feature at the drive-in or the movies. So this movie was awesome. It's inspired from all the old car chase movies. They're referenced in the movie. Yeah, Kurt Russell does a fantastic job being just a despicable creep that you just absolutely loathe. And, you know, I've seen weird arguments from weird guys on the internet saying that they thought this movie was boring, they thought that the ending was anticlimactic, and that the first batch of girls were more interesting than the second batch of girls. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. Like, the character Zoe was so lovable, and you see her riding the roof of the Challenger and he's smashing into the car, and I'm on the verge of crying because I do not want to see this girl injured. We need to protect Zoe at all costs. without even getting into those kinds of semantics, it's a great car chase movie. It's a revenge flick, and it's just entertaining. Managed to squeeze its way right up really high on the list. Honestly, because I almost forgot, and you cannot forget about Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. This movie is iconic. It is haunting. The imagery, the sound effects, the underlying mystery and theme of the hotel itself. And, you know, I think Kubrick did a fantastic job, but he did Kubrick it up, okay? And I think that was good. Apparently, Stephen King didn't like what Kubrick did and wanted to do his own version, and it sucked. No one liked it. Okay, at number 2 on the list, we're getting up to my top 2 favorite ever movies. Beyond the Black Rainbow is a horrifying psychological work of art. And the irony, okay? The movie is about basically a mad scientist experimenting on this girl with dissociative psychedelics. There's also some cult satanic ritual shit happening. It's very fucked up. And the first time I ever saw this movie, guess what? I was high as shit on acid myself, and Steven decided that it was a great time to show me that movie. And the doctor in this movie crept me out so much. I was so freaking scared of this man. And like the girl, like, I was so scared. I was so high, and I was like, oh my god, I can't look at this movie. And I was like turning away. It's scared. But you can't look away. It's just a really, really good movie. I highly recommend to anyone who likes artsy, psychological, sci-fi horrors. This is it. You have to check this movie out. If you haven't seen it, stop what you're doing today, make time, and then go watch it later. And then leave me a comment about what you thought. And I want to know, have you ever done psychedelics? What did you think? Because watching this movie on psychedelics was next level a trip for me. Another Panos Cosmatos movie, and very similar to Kill Bill. This is a revenge flick, but this was not done with the artsy vibrato of Quentin Tarantino. This is another psychedelic, psychological horror where I was just mesmerized. This movie is beautiful. The music is beautiful. All the actors do such a good job. And this is the performance of his life, and they say it in the trailer, and they're not joking. You know, a lot of people can say what they will about him hamming it up in movies. He did such a good job in this movie, and they need to make more movies like this. Nicolas Cage. Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Phenomenal. Like, the performance of his lifetime. This movie was so good. The music is so good. Just watching the trailer now just gets me pumped up, and I just want to watch it so bad.
You think you're so in love? I'll show you love.
Oh man, they wronged you.
And yeah, I think I watched this one on LSD also. I went through a bit of a phase. I was doing LSD every weekend. And yeah, this movie just gets me so pumped. Fucking chainsaw fight, boys. Fucking pumped. Go watch it. I wanted to live stream some video games, but my spouse is laid off. He's been laid off since February. And outside of taking care of the baby in the morning, he does nothing but playing online multiplayer shooting games. So I can't live stream from the PS5 from my bedroom. I'm gonna have to bring it to the living room, which is I did pass Remake. I've started Rebirth, and maybe I'll start streaming that if anybody's interested in seeing that. I just wanted to make sure I didn't suck at the game first, because I restarted Vengeance, and I was so bad. It was terrible. It was embarrassing. And I was like, why are you live streaming if you suck? So, if you'd like to support the channel, you can by either liking and subscribing and sharing, commenting, doing all the things. You can also join my membership. I have one for $1, and that will really support the channel because YouTube doesn't want to monetize or pay me, so that's fine. If you guys want to do that, fantastic. I would really appreciate it. I'm going to try and be better about getting these consistent shout-outs because I have to remember to check things. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching this video. This was my top 20 must-see movies from my childhood on. My favorite, have-to-see, must-see movies. Yes. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I have nothing left. Bye.